here where I can click on this to download the IntelliJ. Again, very importantly, this site opens up here for the Ultimate. The Ultimate is the paid version. When I scroll down, I would see the Community Edition. I want you to download the Community Edition. Very important, the Community Edition, because it is the Community Edition in which we are going to use and utilize. Perfect. Also, for our class, every single class session we come, everything we will do would be on the computer. We would use the computer throughout. There is no class in which we'll come that we would not use the computer. So it is very important to me that every class in which you come, you have a PC. All hands are not the same. So I understand that some of you do not have computers. But first of all, if you don't have a computer, the course gets hard for you. Programming is something which is continuous. It's something in which you should be doing. It is something in which you should be involving in the day to day, which means that if you are not involved in it in the day to day, honestly, you won't be good at it, with all due respect. So you need a PC. It is not it is not a debate. You need a PC for this course. Now, you have friends, you have people you can borrow, rent, borrow, come for the 2 hours, use the PC, and give it back to the person because you will need a PC. And because the sockets in the class are also not that good, it means when you are coming and you have an extension board, bring it so that we can extend and everybody can use the PC for the duration of the class. Every face-to-face meeting, we need a PC. The next thing is about class timing. The timing of our class is a bit early, but nevertheless, we must be on time. As you can see today, we started exactly on time. We will do everything on time. I honestly do not care what you do with the other classes, but for my class, we must be on time. There is no negotiation on that point. You must be on time. It's very, very important. Taking of class attendance when we are online is also very important to me. I realize that most of you entered into the class with your name and not your ID. Your ID is what we'll be using to give you marks. So those of you who entered the Zoom without your ID, it's a problem because we need your ID for the marks. So those without IDs, I don't know how I'm going to give you marks because I've taken attendance already. Again, timing, orders, all of those things are very important to me. And finally, I know how to code personally. It is my job to teach you how to code. Coding is very difficult when you are doing it alone and when you are starting out. I understand that. So during the class, if you have a question, please ask. No one pays school fees more than the other. No one does something more than the other. We are here to learn. Do not unmute and be making unnecessary noise and all of those things because I expect that you being a student, even though we are online, you are at a position where you can take advantage of the class because you've paid. If you choose not to do that, that is your business. But don't unmute if you are not, like, if you are just going to make noise. If you have a question, you can always unmute and then ask your question. With all of those rules out of the way, let's begin with today's class. Today's class is going to be on a very important topic for us. A very, very important topic for us. And the topic is variables. What are variables in Java? You see, the concept of us programming is all based on our ability to save information and manipulate the information we have saved. That's it. We have to save information And then when we are able to save the information, we go on to manipulate the information we have saved. So our duty in our class is one, how do we save information? How do we save it? Then we'll come and look at how we are supposed to manipulate it. A variable has a definition. And in every form of the definition of a variable, we will see the following text. A variable is a named storage location that holds a value of a specific data type. Okay, let's look at this definition very well. A variable is a storage location, a named storage location that holds a value of a specific type. Now, in understanding this, we must seek aid. We must visualize it because most of the things in coding are visual. We must see how they relate to us. Now, your computer saves information. The information it saves, it is saved in your computer's memory. So your CPU will save information in your memory. When your computer starts, information is loaded into memory. When a program has to run, the running of that program is saved in what? Memory. Memory is a continuous block. So over here, when I have this shaped over here, I have a continuous block. Memory being a continuous block means that the computer sees it as one long shape like this. Let's say I go and write the following. Int n is equal to 0. I go and write in x is equal to 2. I go and write int y is equal to, let's say, 3. And I go and write int sum is equal to nothing for now. What have I done? What have I done? I have just told the computer that I want you to create a space for me. So the computer creates a space for me. So over here, the computer has just defined the space for me. So what is blue is my space. Now, if you are a thinking person and you wanted to refer to the space, how would you refer to the space? You need to know the address of the space. The computer, because its job is just to save items, everything it saves, it assigns it an address. So technically over here, there would be an address over here for it to use to know what item it has saved in the location that is blue. I tell the computer again over here that I want you to save a space. So the computer will again create a space for me and then assign an address to the space. I tell the computer, save something in a space for me. So again, it assigns the item to an address and gives it its address over here. And finally, we have the fourth thing where a space is created and then an address is assigned. But colleagues, friends, fellow programmer learners, if I came to you and I said, oh, the item in location 101010 added to the item in location 01001 and go and put it in location 10001, you realize that even whilst I'm mentioning the numbers, I'm getting tired. I will forget it. So for you to know the name of the address, you call the address N. You call the address X. You call the address Y. And you call the address sum. Remember, the definition of the variable says a variable is a named storage location. Therefore, the ones that are colored over here as blue and peach and green and deep peach are the variables. The variable is not the n and the x and the y and the sum. The n and the x and the y are the sum, are the address pointing to the variable, the space. So again, if I say n is equal to 0, it means that I have created an address called n. And in the address called n, I am putting 0 there. I am creating an address called X. And in the address called X, I am putting 2 there. I'm creating an address called Y. And in the address called Y, I'm putting 3 there. And I'm creating an address called sum. And in sum, I am putting nothing there. The equal to sign does not mean n and 0 are the same. We are not doing math. Math is the language in which things are expressed in. So technically, everything looks like math because the formulas we do will be mathematically expressed. But we are not doing math. We are writing a language. Therefore, there are rules to the language. So in here, I have done this. My computer knows that I am saving n in 0, x in 2, y in 3, and sum in this location over here. It knows it's supposed to save those things there. But you see, there is a funny thing that happens when you want to save things. Let's say hypothetically, I told one of you that I want to save water in your house. And because I'm your teacher, you say yes. Oh, sir, you can bring the water. And I'm saying, okay. And then I come to your house with an entire truck filled with pure water. Right there, you'd realize you don't have a place to store it. But you said you take my water. You see, the computer is being told that it needs to create a space, and it has given the space an address. But the question is, how big should the space be? Should it be this big or should it be that big? The thing in which you are going to put in the space, how big should it be? That is why we have the int and there's double and the float and the boolean and the string. We are telling the computer that create a space that is big enough to hold an integer. The space I want you to create it big enough to hold an integer. That is why when you are creating a variable and you don't bring the data type, it's a big problem because technically, if I don't bring this and I just write n is equal to 0, I have told the computer to do something. What did I tell it to do? I told it to create a space, give the space an address called n, and put 0 there. That's fine. But how big should the space be? I need to specify that. I need to specify that. I need to know how big the location I want to store the data should be. Because our memory is not an infinite thing, it is finite. The space in your memory is finite. If you have 8 gig, is 8 gig. If you have 16 gig, is 16 gig. It is finite. So if I don't know how big the items I'm putting there should be, how can I store the information over there? So the variable, per our definition, is a name storage location that holds a value of a specific data type. Now, the fact that you are holding a value doesn't mean that you would have to end with that value. Doesn't mean that the value you have, that is the end and all. Doesn't mean that from the beginning of your life to the end of your life, that is the data you are supposed to have. For example, I can say that over here, sum is equal to y plus x. That means that, and look at this carefully, because remember, we are not doing maths. So there is an order to what we are doing. We are telling the computer that take whatever you have on this hand side. When you are done doing what you are doing on that hand side, go and give it to this. Now, why are we using the word go and give? Go and give. We are saying give because it is an address. So over here, the sum is not where the answer of y plus x is going to be. The sum is the address pointing to the answer of where it's supposed to be. That means that I will take what is in y, which is 3. I'll take what is in x, which is 2. I will add them together. I'll get 5. And I'll go and put it in the location with the address called what? Sum, which is 5. Understanding of variables and manipulating variables is what programming is about. Your ability to manipulate it makes you an amazing programmer. Understanding it is very important. Integers are not the only data type. From the examples in which I give you, we can see that data types are very important. So you can see a statement on the screen that says variables in Java must be declared before use. Again, we are speaking a language. So there are certain words we use when we use the language. If I tell you to declare a variable, I'm telling you to announce it. You have been declared the winner. You have been announced as the winner. You have been presented as the winner. And why do I need to declare a variable? Why do I need to announce a variable? I need to announce a variable because the computer needs to know what address is the variable. The computer needs to know how big should the space be. Therefore, for me to be able to declare a variable, I require two things. I first require the data type of the variable. I secondly require the name of the variable. So I have declared. So how do we declare a variable? I could ask you in the exam. Your response to me was that to declare a variable, you require the data type and the name of the what? Variable. Therefore, what is the data type? What is it? The data type, what is it? The data type in a variable describes the information that would be stored in that space. There are two categories of data types in Java. We have the primitive data types. The word primitive there means that it is the basic. It came with the program. It means the people who did the program wrote that code and put it there. It is the basic code we can get. It is inbuilt. It is primitive. So primitive data types, these are built-in basic types that store simple values. They are not objects and have fixed sizes. What do we mean by they have fixed sizes? You see, the data type in which you choose, I told you that it tells you how big this space would be. The how big part is the size, like 1 kilobyte, 2 kilobyte, 3 kilobyte. That's what we are talking about here. So if I go and take the information I have here and I look at it from this point of view, then I can say that if I have, for example, a byte, that means that I can take 8 bits. An example of a byte means that I have from 128 to 127 digits of numbers in which I can take. That is, byte B is equal to 100. If I have a short, that means that I can take 32,768 to 32,767 values from negative to positive. If I have an integer, then I can take minus 2 to the exponent of 31 to 2 to the exponent of 31 values. If I take a long, that means I can take more values than an int. If I take a float, then that means that the value I am taking is a floating point number. That is, this is a decimal point number. The reason why they call it floating point is because technically in a computer, this value, the 3, is saved in one location and the other values are saved in other locations, hence they are floating. So floating point numbers. But if the number in which I want to save is of a higher decimal point, I would use a double. So a float takes less space than a double. I would use a float if what I am doing, the calculation of it is small. I would use a float. If the calculation has to be more minute, like I'm checking for earthquakes, I would use a double because it would take more decimal numbers behind the point. If I just want to check true or false, I will use a Boolean. And if I just want the characters on the keyboard, one after the other, A, B, C, just that, I would use a character or a char. Now, each one has a size. Now, for your computer, it really doesn't matter. Your computer is your computer. Well, it doesn't matter. But you see, if you were building an application for someone you realize that space is very important. So the data type you will choose would have an adverse effect on the storage of the program. We have all used programs before. Charlie app where there this space, so app where there this app takes too much space. This app, you are the developer. If you don't want people to say this app takes too much space, then you have to put it in a different way. The name of the variable is also part of the declaration, the name. What name have you given to your variable? There are some rules that govern name. Do not leave space. Do not leave space. Do not leave a space. If you want to give a name of a variable, let's say I want to say pay a purchase order. So I write purchase, and then the order would be like this. Or I can write order with an underscore like this. I don't leave spaces in variables. I can't say purchase space order. This is completely wrong. It has to be one word. To be honest, going forward, if I don't tell you to leave space, don't leave space. Number two, your variable cannot have a number starting with it. You can't say number one purchase order. It can be purchase order number one. It can be this, but it can't be the other way around. It can't start with a digit. It can't start with a symbol. So I can't have at purchase order or hash purchase order or dollar sign purchase order or percentage sign purchase order. I can't have any of these things. It is not allowed. And you see, um, contrary to popular belief, whenever you are writing a code, the number of lines in there are a lot. In our class, the highest you guys will write to be like 50 lines. Even that one, crown, I doubt, to be honest. Like 20 lines, 25 lines, just beginner coder entry. Now, if you're writing proper code, building an app, you have 1 billion lines, 7 billion lines, 700,000 lines, you have a lot of lines. You see, the code you write, sometimes, honestly, you forget what you have written. You forget. Sometimes you'd ask yourself, why did I write this? Why did I write it? Why? Now, the name you give your variable must make meaning to what you are going to save in it. If I'm going to be saving numbers, I can use num, I can use number, I can use num1, I can use n1. All of these things tell me I can use value1. All of these tell me that, oh, this variable is saving some numbers or something. I can't go and write Kojo Kwame. I can't write that because it doesn't describe what it is going to keep. Because it will make it difficult for me to remember in the future. And it will make it difficult for me to be able to collaborate with someone. Because when a person sees it, Kojo, what are you trying to store in Kojo? It doesn't make sense. And finally, the variables always start with a small letter. You don't start variables with capital letters. If you start a variable with a capital letter, it is an object. So you see, after today, if you know nothing, if you are reading someone's code and you see a capital letter, will say, oh, this is a class. The person will think that, yeah, you know what you are talking about. But by convention, classes are capital letters, variables are all small letters. Are there any questions? There are no questions. Then we thank God. Let's have some examples. On the screen, I have a question. David Hammond, read the question on the screen. David Hammond is not there, so we will deduct 5 marks from David Hammond and we would move to Evans Arthur. Archer, read the question on the screen.
Okay, sir. You are creating a program to store and display information about a student profile. The program should store the student name, age, grade point average, and whether they are enrolled in a computer science course. Write a Java program that declares variable for this data, assign appreciate values, and print them to console.
Well done, David Arthur. Good job on that. Let's have someone else read the question for us again. Edward Nyako, read the question. Before that, Samuel, what's the question?
Okay, sir, please. When you said someone should read, I was about to read, but you called someone else.
When I said what? Hello? Samuel, I couldn't hear you well.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, please. When you said someone should read, I was about to read, but then you called someone else.
Oh, that's fine. Read it for us again.
Okay. You are creating a program to store and display information about the student's profile. The program should store the student's name, age, grade point average, and whether they are enrolled in a computer science course. Write a Java program that declares variables for these details, assigns appropriate values, and prints them to the console.
Thank you. 2 people have read it for us. In every single question we do, we must understand the question. In every single question you do, you must understand the question. You can't solve someone's problem if you do not understand the person's problem. You must remove yourself from whatever biases you have and put yourself in that person's shoes. You must think like that person. You must know that person. The fact that we said we are doing programming, around 25% of programming is actually writing code. The rest is you thinking of the code, thinking of what you are going to write, thinking of how you are going to execute the code. The execution of the code, thinking of it. Yes, Edward. You have your
All right,
answer.
sir. You told me to read,
It's
but then you
okay.
called someone else.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. The second person has read for me, so that's fine.
Okay.
But David Hammond has -5. Straight. I've recorded it actually. So you must understand the question. You must understand the question. Now, in the question I have here, how do I understand the question? And you see, a lot of students, the reason why you don't like programming or you find it difficult are these things. You realize, whilst I'm teaching you, every question will be problem-based so that you would build your problem-solving skills. Because at the end of the day, that is what it all is. Your ability to see a problem, break it down, solve it. That is all programming is. So let's solve the what is on the screen. together. Now, I'm going to go through the way I am seeing it, the way I'm thinking of it. How am I thinking of it? First thing, I need to know, what do they want me to do? What is the problem? You see, what is the problem for you is just solving the question. For me, it is me getting paid. Because if I know the problem, then I know the functionalities that will solve your problem. And based on the number of functionalities, I will charge you an amount of money for the app. If I don't know your problem, I don't know your functionalities. Hence, I don't know the scope and the gravity of the work that must be done. So I may undercharge or overcharge you. What do they want us to do? They want us to display information about a student. So they want a program to display information about a student. What information do they want us to display on? See, the moment I know what the problem is, my next step is to delve into it. Okay, you want me to display information about the student? Okay, what information do you want me to display? Oh, I want you to display the person's name, age, grade point, average. So I want you to display the person's name, his age, his grade point, average, and I also want you to determine if the person is doing computer science as a course. That means that the things here, I will have to save them in the computer. How will I save them in the computer? I will save them as variables because we know that variables from the top somewhere here, I've already removed it, but variables are locations that we use to store information. So we need to store them as variables. Variables must be one word, two words at most that describe what you are saving. We have learned that. So it means that if I want to save a student's name, what variable can I use to describe a student name? Oh, name. Over here, what can I use? Age. Over here, what can I use? GPA. Over here, what can I use? Is enrolled in CS. One word short. When I see, oh, it's enrolled in CS, how can I read it? Because I've used the camel case. So is capital E, capital I. So I see it's enrolled in CS. Oh, okay, that's what it is saving. It makes sense to what I'm doing. Now I can write my program. How do I write my program? I need to first start my IntelliJ. Remember, you have to install the community edition, the free edition. So I'll open my IntelliJ. When you're opening the IntelliJ for the first time, try and have internet because you need to download something when you are done installing. So over here, when I open it fresh, I would see create a new project there. But for me, I'll just go to File and go to New and go to New Project. So this is the New Project window. The first thing I am asked is, what name do I want to give my project? I want to call it Student Profile. Perfect. And then in here, it asks me a question. What JDK do I want to use? I am using the Eclipse JDK. Now, over here, you can click on it. You would see download JDK and click on it. Again, if you don't have internet and you click there, nothing will show, nothing will come. So you need internet. You don't need internet every time you're running the program. You just need it for the first time. Very important. Then over here, you would go and look for the vendor, and the vendor is going to be Eclipse. And then when you are done, you just save and then continue. Now, over here, you can add sample codes and then continue. That's all. So the thing will load. I want to start it in this window. So it will load and then open up in this window for me. So I have my code opening up for me. Let me see if I can make the interface a bit bigger so that you guys can see settings, appearance, Alt Shift plus. Okay, let me see. So here I have Alt Shift and plus, but it's not working. So let me just go back here. Where is settings, appearance, and we want our appearance to be 100%. So it is a bit bigger now. And I'm sure you guys can see now, and it is visible. Can you see? Is it okay? Or I should make it a bit bigger again. Let me just make it 110, just in case. Yeah, 110. Okay, that's fine. So now I can write my code. On the side, we'll see SRC, and in SRC, we'll see main. So the main holds my folder, my main Java file. Now, for me to write my code, I have the following. I have the main class. I have the main method. How did I know that this is the main class? Because it starts with a capital M. And how did I know that this is the main method? Because it has a small m and it has parentheses with it. So for now, all our code would be in the middle here. For now, I will discuss why in a later class. But for now, make sure you have your main class here, open curly bracket, it closes here. You have your main method here, open curly bracket, it closes here. Our code would be in the middle here. All our code will be here. This thing, I think it is too small for you guys. So again, let me make it 125. Okay. Now, I can type my code in here. Let me type my code in here. Number one, over here, I have the design I did. So I'll take the design from here, the analysis I did, and I'll bring all my analysis here and put them in a comment so that it is just here. A comment is a piece of code that would only be seen by the developer. So the computer does not recognize the code I've put in a comment. And because there are multiple lines of the comment, I've used a multiple line comment, which is slash star, and it closes with a star slash. So the starting point is slash star, ending point is star slash. And it means that anything within that domain will not be recognized by the computer, so that we can just see it here. Now, student name. I said that I'm going to call it name. That's the name of the variable. Age, I'm going to call it age. Grade point, I'm going to call it GPA. And then if the person is doing computer science course, I'm going to call it is enrolled in CS. But this is wrong. Because per our earlier lesson, we learned that we as a class, if we want to declare a variable, if we want to create an initial variable, if we want to tell the computer we want to use a variable, we need two things. We need the name and the data type. So on my screen, I just have the name. Name, age, GPA is enrolled. Where is the data type? You can see that the computer has underlined everything for me, and everything in which is underlined is red. Where is the data type? So in here, I am going to be storing someone's name. Someone's name is a combination of characters. What data type is used to store a combination of characters? It is a string. I'm going to be storing someone's age. Someone's age is 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 50 years, 5 years, 25 years. It is just one value together, actually. So we have an integer. So we have an integer over here because they are not decimals. Someone's GPA is going to be stored as a decimal because we have 2.5, 4.2, 1.0, all of those things. So here, your GPA is going to be stored as a double or a float. It could be either of them. It's not necessarily every day has to be double. It could be a float because both of them are used to save decimal numbers. But remember, float is smaller than double. Over here, it is going to be, are you doing computer science? Yes, no. So the information I store over here has to be saved in a Boolean. So here I would save it in a Boolean. Ladies and gentlemen, I have declared my variables. Now, the computer said that we need to give the variables data. So in programming, when you have a variable and you give it its first piece of data, it means that you have initialized it. So for example, in the exam, I can say declare and initialize a variable called age. It means that you need to do int age and then say it is equal to, let's say, 20. You have declared and initialized. You need to give a name to the name. So here I'm going to call it Alex Ablo. Over here, I need to have a GPA. I think Alex Ablo is a very prosperous name. So Alex would be a very good student. So Alex is in 4.0. Sharp. Alex is a sharp boy. And then over here is Alex doing a computer science related course. He is not. So it is what? False. Because he's doing BIT. The things here have been saved in the computer. I now have to display it to you. How will I display in Java? I display by using system. Remember, for the system, the S is capital. .out, .print, ln. Print ln means that when you are done printing what you want to do, go to a new line. And what do I want to print here? Student profile. So on my screen, when I run this code here, when I go and click on the play button at the top, you see that at the bottom, the code will run in console. So first of all, it will build. There are no errors in my code. So when there are no errors and nothing is fine, I have to come down here and it says what? Student profile. It is showing over here. But my student profile, it didn't show anything else. So let me show something else. Because beauty is very important in life, I'll do student profile. And over here, I'll just come and do a nice star here. So remember, if I say system.out.print and I put something in quotes, so everything here is in double quotes, I'm telling the computer, display it as it is. So when I run this again, you see that on my screen, I'll have student profile and on another line, because remember, I said print ln. So when it prints student profile, it will go to another line, print the next thing and go to another line. And on that other line that it has gone to, I want to print out the name of the student. I want to print out the age of the student. I want to print out the GPA of the student, and I want to print out the enrolled course of the student. Now that I have this out of the way, I can run my code. So on my screen, I'll see student profile, name, age, GPA, course enrolled. But there is a problem. You see, the name of the student is Alex Ablo. He has an age of 20. He didn't come. It means I'm wrong because I didn't achieve the aims of my program. How can I achieve the aims of my program? I can achieve the aims of my program by, over here, bringing a plus sign. The plus sign here, because I'm using it with a string, anything in double quotes is a string. You can see that when I type Alex Ablo, I put it in double quotes, which means it is a string. It means that you are joining with something. So when you see a plus, it means you are joining. In programming, we would say you are concatenating. Joining means concatenation, concatenating. So in here, I am telling the computer to join name. This is a very interesting thing I've written here. I'm telling the computer at this point, display name, bring a semicolon and leave a space. When you are done, join it to whatever that is inside name. What is inside name? Alex Ablo. Over here too, I'm telling the computer display age. Bring a semicolon, leave a space, and then join whatever that is in age. I'm telling the computer display GPA, leave a space, and display GPA. The same thing over here. So now, when I look at what happens when I run the code again, it will display name is Alex Ablo, age is that, GPA is that, and this is that. And with that, I have achieved the aims of my program. I have been able to execute my program. Are there any questions? Yes, Andrew.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So please, I just wanted to say that I believe you are good, and I think we love the class because it's made it simple for us to understand. Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's really true. See what?
Let's have another question. And let's see how it applies to what we are doing. Alex, are you coming to ask why did I use your name? Alex, what is it?
Sir,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to ask that for the whether the student is like a computer science or so. I was thinking maybe it will be in a way that like the user can input something like whether yes or no or something.
Alex, wonderful question. So now we are going to do the user asking. Because over here, as you can see, the user is not going to ask anything. We have inputted everything into the program, which means that every single day when we come, we have to come and input. Hey, Juma, well, you put Juma way there. Emfata kainiba. So we have to write the program in such a way that input is being brought into the program. So we have to modify this code. Now, I'm going to modify this code. First thing I need to do is I need to tell the computer something very important. So this code here, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to put it over here for the meantime. And then we are coming to rewrite the code again. But this time we are going to rewrite the code so that it can take input from a particular person. How will I do that? First thing, I need to tell the computer that I need the object of the scanner class. So I would say scanner on is equal to new scanner. In here, I have system.in. Now, this piece of code, for now, you must chew it. There is no going around it there. You need it. So you must chew it. There is no going around. But in the next few lessons, they'll be going around it. Whereby the object of the scanner class, you can see that when I did it, it imported the object of the scanner class at the top here. Some of you, when you write the object of the scanner class, it would show red like this. It means that you have not imported the object of the scanner class. So you must import Java dot utility, or go the simple route because me, I'm tired of typing. Over here, just click on, put the cursor in here and click on alternative, alt and click enter. That's all. It will go and download the object of the scanner class for you. That. Or you type java.util.what? Scanner. The object of the scanner class has a very important job. Its job is to collect information from the console. So if I'm going to ask the computer to bring in data, then I require the tool that collects information from the screen. That is the object of the scanner class. This here is a class. Remember what we said whilst we were talking, that anything that starts with a capital letter is a class. So this is a class. Now, over here, I have an object of the class. That is why I said we are creating an object of the scanner class. So the object itself is the CON. The CON is for console. To be honest, over here, you can put any word you want here. You can call it, any word you want. You can call it console. You can, any word you want to type here, you can type. I'm just typing CON for console. That's what I want because it's short enough for me. Number two, we need to declare the variables we have. And luckily for us, me being lazy, we did it somewhere over here where we said string is this, that is that, Boolean is that. So over here, I'm going to put them over here. But here, we are just going to declare. We are not going to declare initialize, which means that the first values we have there, I'm going to remove all of them because I do not need them. Okay? So over here, they are all going to be empty. Perfect. Now, we are going to ask the user to fill them. Whenever you are writing code and they ask you, read or get or input or ask or any word that goes with these things, technically what they are telling you to do is that they are telling you to ask and receive. Let me give you an example. Over here, I can write name is equal to CON dot next. That means that go to the screen and take the next string because name is a string. So technically, I will take the thing that the person has typed on the screen and go and give it to what? Name. That's what it's going to do. If I run this piece of code, it will run. There are no errors. It is perfectly fine. So you can see over here that I have a cursor that is blinking. Imagine that it is you who I wrote the program for. and you came and you saw the cursor blinking, what do you type? What are you going to type? What are you going to type? Now, this is number one, practically, number one. Number two is this. Here, I would say system.out.print. In this case, I would not add the print ln because I want you to display and remain there. And here I would say enter your name. So the computer will display enter your name and the cursor will remain there. Remember, ln means that the cursor should come to the next line. The cursor will remain there because I said print. And when I rerun this code again, this is what I have. I have enter your name and then the cursor is blinking. When you see this, what will you do? You put your name there. Oh, my name is Clara. When you press enter, your name has been taken. So when you press enter, this con.next will take your name and go and give it to what? Name. Full stop. Over here, I have system.out.print. In here, we are going to put enter your age. Here I have age is equal to con.age has a data type of integer. So here I'll have next word, int, not next. Because next means I'm taking only a string. So here next, integer. The next one I have system.out.print. Enter your GPA. You can see that whenever I bring the semicolon, I leave space because everything in which I do, I know how it will display. One of the beautiful things about programming in which people, apart from the money you make, if you are very good at it, is control. You do everything. Anything everybody sees, everything everybody feels, how they click on it, how they feel it, how it displays to them. Sometimes you build an app and you watch someone's face and how they feel, how they use the app. You're like, oh, that's me. I'm controlling you. That's the joy of programming. The money will come if you are good at it. That one day. If you are very good at it, you shine. But it's not about the money. It's about you did an app and it works and someone sees it and yeah, and you have an app and let's say 500,000 people are using it and you're like, yeah. So let me finish this up. Here I have GPA is equal to con.next what? Double. Because remember the GPA is a double. And then finally we have system.out.print. And then in here we have, are you doing computer science? Then into brackets, true / false. Remember, every statement you answer ends with a semicolon. You can see that the moment I'm done typing, we have a semicolon at the end. Oh yes, when I was giving the instructions for you people to do, I forgot about a very important instruction. If you can't type, go and learn how to type. We are not going to come to class and you'll be typing A where him, B where him. Go and download Mavis Beacon or any of the typing this one and learn how to type before you come next week. That would know A where him, B where him, and you are not helping anybody. It's every man for himself. Everybody's focusing on their computer. Mm-hmm. So at this point, the first app, what I did was I entered the values. Here, I've declared them, and then the user has entered them. So all I have to do now is to display to the user what he or she has what entered. So I can bring the code I did over here so that I don't have to type again. Wonderful. I can paste it here. So here we have student profile, name is this, age is this, that is that, he enrolled on this. Beautiful. When I run this code, I have this here. What is the person's name? It is Clara. How old is Clara? Clara is 21. What's her GPA? Clara, last semester, she was doing Shaggy Small, so we'll give her 3.8. And then we'll press enter here. Is she doing computer science? No, it's false. Error. Straight up. And the error is on line 17. So what did I do on line 17 that I shouldn't do? Okay, here I'm taking Boolean numbers. So it's either going to be true or false. I think the false, I didn't type it well. Let me see. So here, remember, we have Clara again. Clara again. She's 21 again. Her GPA is 3.8 again. And over here, I am supposed to type false. And when I typed it correctly, now everything is fine in the name of the Lord because I spelled the false wrong. Again, you saw how I didn't panic. I saw the number they said the error was. I went to that place. I saw that everything in which I had to do was correct. The spelling is correct. That means that the input I put is wrong. So I had to go back and correct my input. Yes, Mr. David, what's the problem?
Sir, please, can you scroll to the top a bit?
I have.
Yes, please, the name equals con.next. Please, and why did you use next in place of string?
Very good. So over here, okay, when I bring con and I bring dot, because con is an object, you can see that there are no values here like next string. The first one here that you see is next. And you can see that next string pattern. You see it written inside there. Next string pattern. So
Yes, sir.
next is used for string automatically. So when I say next, I am using a string. If it is anything else, it will be next int, next double, next float, next boolean. But the next, you see that the job of the console is to take string values. So technically, what you are doing is that you are telling the computer that the string value you are taking, convert it into an integer or a float and put it here. That's what you are doing. So over here, the next is technically a string. So you don't have to write next string. Next is a string. Is that okay, David?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Samuel, what's the issue?
Okay, sir, please, when you are inputting the enter your name, enter your age, and then the GPA, I realized that the GPA was in capital, and I wanted to know if perhaps we are programming and then one particular item becomes capital, wouldn't it affect?
What do you mean
the
by the
program?
GPA was capital? You mean here, like,
Hello?
yeah, you mean here, like when I ran it. So when I ran the program, right, I have name here, and let's say the name is John. Let's say John is 21. And here the GPA is capital. Is it this one? Samuel, is it this one? Hello, Samuel. Samuel, is it this one? If it is this one,
Sir,
yeah, is it this one?
hello?
Is this GPA you're talking about?
Yes. No,
Okay.
not this one. The one in the green, the one.
The green here, the GPA is numbers, so it can't be capital. Do you understand? The
No, say
GPA is,
I wasn't talking about this one. I
then
was
which
talking
one?
about the system dot out dot print when you
Mhm.
were inputting the enter your name, enter
Over here?
that part. I realized that yes,
No,
everything,
okay,
almost
okay, that's
everything
fine.
was in.
So over here, the GPA here, GPA is an acronym. So it's going to be in capital letters. That's number one. Grammar wise, GPA is in capital letters. And then
Okay.
number two, over here, if I put something in double quotes here, it is not a variable. It is me telling the computer to display. So I'm telling the computer, display what I have there. So over here, if I write GPA in capital, if I space it and do this, no one cares because I'm telling the computer to do it.
Okay.
Now, if I come out here and the GPA I wrote at the top here, over here, I go and space it. That one, red flag. We have a problem. Red flag. So if the thing is in double quotes, that one I am saying display. That one has nothing to do with the program running. Even if I make a wrong spelling, the computer will just display that because I said it to display. But the moment it is a variable name and it's a small letters. If it is capital, it is capital letters. There is no mixing of values over there. I hope you understand me somewhat.
Yes, sir. I do.
And then
Thank you.
Mr. ORK.
Please, good morning.
Good morning.
My question is it because you want to display the results to the user? That's why you use public class main.
Public class name. Where is that one? This
Say
one.
at the top, line 3.
Okay.
Yeah, the line 3.
All
Is it
code.
because you want to display the results to the user? That's why you use public class main.
No. All code you write would be written in the main method. So your code is in the main method. This is public static void main. Public because it is, you see, all code you write, there is a point in which your code will run from. The point your code will run from is the main method. And because it is the point your code will run from, it has to be public. If it's not public, it doesn't make any sense. That's where all your code will run from. That is why before we started the class, you realize I told you that the class main and then the main method don't touch. Just write your code within the two curly brackets. So the public static void main means that it is public to everybody because all your code will run through the main method. It is static, which means that when it is loaded into memory, it should remain like how it is. It shouldn't leave memory because that piece of code there is how all your application will run. So if it is changing, there is a problem. And then it is void because it returns no value. But that is when we get to functions and stuff. For now, what you should remember is that all your code will be in the middle here. But no, you are not running it because every code, every application you start, you see this one there. You are not supposed to touch it. Oh, don't touch. Any other question? Yes, Jeffrey.
Please, can we create a function in another file and call it in this in the main class?
Of course, you can do that, but we have not gotten to that yet. But if you know that and you want to do that, you can do that.
Okay, sir.
If we do that now, people will run away, and we don't want people to run away.
Say one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, is there any way we can save the inputs that we are receiving?
But we have saved the input already. That's why when you receive the input, you save it in name. When you receive the input, you save it in age. When you receive the input, you save it in GPA. So you are saving the input.
Sir, at this point, imagine we are taking a lot of inputs.
Uh-huh.
And we want to save all these inputs and revisit them.
Then that means that you would have to use an array and a loop.
All right.
But again, we haven't gotten there yet. And then another thing too, Jeffrey, is that Whenever you are teaching students, they assume that the best app in which they can develop is what will get them paid. That's not true. What will get you paid is when you do what your client wants. So if I wanted to do this and I wanted to do it so that 1,000 people can do it, I can do it. But the question didn't demand that from me. And in the real world, someone tells you he wants an app that can act like Uber, but you do an app that can act like Uber, and when you click, it will even bring a drone to your house. It is cool, but the drone was not part of what the person asked. So always stick within the question and the demands of the question. Any other question? Mr. Rexford.
Yes, sir. Sir, please rerun the code and let me show you something.
Okay. I'll run it.
The enter your name, enter like a name and then a same name.
If you enter a name and the same name, it will give you an error.
Why, sir?
Because the next takes one value. So if you want to take a surname of someone, over here you say string first F name for first name, then I'll say string L name for the surname of the person, right? So that over here, instead of me saying enter your name, I'll say enter your first name and enter your last name. You can't take the name as one. So over here, I'll just say enter your last name, enter your first name, and then over here, I'll just say first name, then I'll add a plus here again, add a space, then I'll bring a plus here again, then here will be last name. So that if I run this program again, I can achieve your aims by saying, here we have Clara, and we have Danso, and Clara Danso is 21. Her GPA is 4.0 because I think this semester she will change her life. And then over here, she's doing false. So here I can see Clara what? Danso. So you see, again, programming is a language. Students get too involved with, within the span of our class, we have written the same program in different ways based on different perspectives in which we want to do. Right? If we wanted to do no, let's not do that. let's not do that. Yeah, let's just leave it here for now. So yes, that answers your question. Mm-hmm. Today's class was to introduce variables and introduce data types to us. When we come to class, we'll have a series of questions which will involve us. Yes, Ms. Donko.
Please, I wanted to ask the reason behind the open brackets in between the first name and the last name.
Open brackets in within the first name and the last name. This one.
Sorry. Yes,
this one.
that one. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, no yawa. Let's take it out. So here I'll just bring the plus because remember, I'm joining this to that. Okay. Now, if I run this code here, first name, let's see, Clara today, the Clara is our example, and here it's down. So, Clara is 21, and Clara has a GPA of 4.0, and here is false. Look at what comes here. Clara down, so one word. Because I told the computer that display name with a semicolon and a space. He has done that. When you are done, display the first name. He has done that. When you are done, display the surname, and it will do that. So if I don't bring the plus here and the double quote here and the space here, for it to be first name space, last name, it will be one word, and your name is not one word.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Control. Everything that will appear on the screen, I know it. In my mind, I have imagined how the thing should display, when it should display. For example, over here, if I want to make sure my program, by the way, before I start doing that, let me just copy this and put it in your class. Anything in which I want to do, for example, over here, if I want to say enter first name, enter last name. So here I would say, for example, okay, leave a space here. And then in here, I'll bring a plus here. And here, I'll put a name, the L name over here. And then here, the OK, I'll bring a comma here. Oh no, I'll say OK here. And then here, I'll bring a comma over here. And then I'll bring a space here, like this. Then here, I'll say, instead of are you doing, I'll just say, F name, I'll bring a plus here, and here I'll bring this that okay, and then I'll have this. Now, when I come over here and I run this code again, I have no errors. You see, no errors. Here I'll say Clara again. Over here, I've put Clara there, I've put down so here. When I click here, it says okay down, so enter your age. So the moment someone who is using the app sees this, say, hey, Charlie, the program, you know my name, oh, Charlie, the program. But it's just simple placement of control. Remember, when I was typing the code, I knew this is what I have to do because I have control over the display. If you don't practice, you will not have control over the display. Again, this is hours of practice. The programming, there is no circumventing the practice. You will make mistakes. If you make a mistake, ask, seek, find, try and solve it. That's the joy of it. Sometimes it takes you a day. Sometimes it takes you even a month. But you always have to find your mistake, find out why. So when a person sees this, say, oh, now so enter your age. Oh, my age is this. Oh, what is your GPA? Your GPA is this. Oh, okay. Clara, are you see, you doing, but yeah, the English have killed the English. This one, they're massive yawa. But here, Clara, are you doing computer science? Oh, yeah, I'm doing computer science. I'm not doing computer science first. So me being able to take values and put them in singular places and knowing how they will display will make the person think that, Charlie, the program, you do know, say you, if you have to use it, nothing we are doing. Control is very important. Control. And control comes from practice. I cannot stress the need for practice. To be honest with you, if you don't practice for 30 minutes a day, every day you lose skill set. It's not a race. Perfect the basics. And the basics are variables and inputs. On your class page, I'm going to put there some questions for you to go and try your hands on. They are in the same vein as this one. Try your hands on them. When we meet next week in person, as I said, the entire class, from the moment I enter the class to the time I leave the class, everything is going to be by computer. You type everything. That means that your typing skills have to be great. That means that you are from now till the time we come to class to learn how to install the software, to learn how to type. Install the software. That thing where I will come to class and then someone is now taking setup. Don't let me see you do that. Honestly, don't. I may even say, don't. Come prepared. Come on time. Do not. My house and the school is very far, and your class is 7 o'clock. I don't want to wake up and come. So if I have to come, you have to come. Don't let me come and you are not there. I want to be very clear. If I come there, especially in the morning, I have to wake up. I don't want to. But if I have to be there at 7, you have to be there at 7. There is no negotiation. So be there before I come. And when we come, we'll have more examples. And then at the end of the class, we'll start learning the if statement. How do we start making decisions in our code? How do we start controlling that? Thank you for coming. We'll meet again next week.
Yeah.